Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sore as hell. Took about 8 hours to do everything I needed to do yesterday between moving stuff here and then moving my wife's or my father-in-law. I have bones and I have muscles that are sore I didn't know I had. And you know, it wasn't that long ago that I moved out another friend of mine. Then I moved Troy, and you know, I wasn't even that sore the day after that. But I was really sore yesterday, or today, waking up. Anyway, I've been gone for kind of a couple of days. I mean, we weren't gone, but we took Tuesday off to do that, which I wouldn't say I took anything off because I was dead. After we spent all this time moving out Leah's dad, then I went to see my mother because she had some family stuff, and family was up that never comes up here, and I hadn't seen them in 3 years, so I stopped into that, and I mean, we were just dead yesterday. Then I spent my last night watching a show on Netflix. Like last night I collapsed on the, you know those big beanie chairs that are just gigantic? They're just huge chairs. You know, I got one of those a while back, and I just collapsed into the thing, and I put on a sci-fi show that was, you know, really a much better Star Trek than the current Star Trek, even though it wasn't Star Trek. So I had a good time watching that. Caught up on some NXT. We got a big Summerslam potential problem coming up here for the whole country, really. You know, we now... I sensed this was going to happen a long time ago. I said, get ready. They're going to bring back the lockdowns just in time for school again, right? That was what I thought. I don't think we're going to get that fully, but we're going to get some sort of a mini version, right? We're going to get this sort of mini response. So I don't think we're going to get... I don't believe it's going to be crazier than last year, but it's going to be this mini version of it. You know? Some people getting inflammation from the protein spike from the jab, which is interesting. Some people getting the thing, not getting the thing, getting the thing, not getting the thing. Some people, if you get the thing, you don't need a mask, but now you do need one. And some people don't have a mask. Some people wear a mask. Some people wear a mask even if they got the jab. A lot of people getting COVID even though they you know, they basically, they got the jab, but they have COVID anyway. So that's another thing. A lot of interesting stuff going on there. You know, a lot of interesting things happening. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Very strange situation. My dogs are now barking like crazy upstairs as I start this show, which is super annoying and distracting. What up, Trey Love? How you doing, man? What's up to everybody on the board? There's the $25 producers, patrons. I updated the list. So it should be fully updated there. If you can see it, then you can tell exactly what's going on right there. Why? People getting sick from the vaccine. What's up, Killer? How you doing, man? People getting sick with the vaccine. Joe, my wife, 8 tons of pain. What? I don't know. You'll have to tell me about that after. Yeah, we'll get into that. But this is a definite freaky thing because for anybody with SummerSlam plans. But to me, it just looks like what we're doing is we're basically doing the whole, you know, you're gonna have to wear masks in the building or in the, you know, in Vegas. I got a message from D. Welsh a minute ago. It says they have a high rate percentage per state health department. The Las Vegas mask mandate has been up for the last month now, says D. Welsh. They have a high rate percentage per the state health department. This, I mean, it's true, but I think you're seeing stuff going up all over the place again. as stuff begins to rise and people begin to change. I don't think it's gonna change the show. You may have to wear one to SummerSlam. Get in your seat and then you'll be all right. But when you're walking around, you may have to have it on. I don't know. We could see weird, mandates or rules and select things like that. But really, that's about it. And that's all I see coming with it. Some people are saying it's going to be canceled. Some people are saying, oh, it's going to be canceled. I know that's a worry. You were supposed to be in Boston the last time. And after it was supposed to be in Boston, then we lost it here. We lost it a long time before it happened, though. We knew it in March, and then April, May, and it was, this is not going to happen. What's up, Johnny Impact? I have asthma. I'm fine. Thank God I'm fine. Spanish Sloth. What's up, Spanish? All right. So, here's the thing. And again, like my channel is, this channel isn't about, it's not really supposed to be about, politics or mass and things like that. But I can at least state some facts out loud to say, I understand why there's such a discrepancy of people. And somebody the other day said this to me. They said, why do people believe all these conspiracy things and all these different things? And I said, well, because they're lied to. And the thing is, when you lie to people, even a little bit, it creates this doubt and paranoia. So if you lie to people enough, it creates this thing that's out there. If you just told the full truth all the time, there would be less lying. There would be less need for lying. Or if you really were selective on the things you lied about. It's like the president. Who's the lady who reads the secretary or the press house, this press secretary for the president, the redhead? It's just like when she's like, oh, it's approved by the FDA. No, it's not. It's approved for emergency use. So you're telling people you can get it because it's approved by the FDA, but it's not approved by the FDA. It's approved on an emergency basis because we have a pandemic, but it's not actually approved. And when people asked about the concerns about it safety-wise, and she goes, oh, it's approved by the FDA. Well, you just lied to the American people. Then when you get the shot, it says not approved by the FDA, just so you know. Take this at will. So it's like little lies like that, or little, whatever you want to call them, misunderstanding. How do you misunderstand that when I understand that? I'm a moron. So all these little lies, they start adding up, and people put them in their heads as, oh, well, I don't trust the government. And then when you look at real things like that have happened in the past, like, Northwood, Gulf of Tonkin, and those are just the obvious old-timey ones. There's so many new ones and stuff that we could get into, but I'm not going to do it. But the bottom line is, again, and I'm like a, pretty left-leaning liberal type of person in a way, even though I'm more independent, right? I'm more of an independent person. Myself now, I'm more of an independent, So I'm not telling people what to do anywhere. I'm just saying, like, when you lie to people, they're going to become paranoid and they're going to be weird. So nobody wants to hear this mandate thing with the mask, right? I think that obviously, if this was real, what we would be doing is everybody would be wearing a mask. If things were really going on, like, everybody would be wearing a mask and everybody would be vaccinated, or everybody would be wearing, like, a mask, like a full mask. Like, there would be new masks being developed by the government to come out that would really protect, like 99.9% of germs, and would block the coronavirus from getting through the mask, or whatever, and we would all be wearing those, or there would be, like, crazier masks. But you got the lady, the redhead in the White House, who says that, oh, it's approved by the FDA when it's not. You got people saying, you got Joe Biden who said, just get the shot and then you won't get COVID. So the president of the United States says if you get the shot, you will not get COVID. That is incorrect. That is wrong and incorrect. So that's wrong. So you got his White House secretary saying, oh, FDA approved this. Well, no, they didn't. And then you get Joe Biden saying, oh, if you get this, you won't get COVID. Both lies, both wrong. What? But if it's just very strange. So when you add up all these things, people start to become paranoid, especially the right people, the people that are more defensive minded, or like offensively defensively minded, if you want to say that. Some of us are different. Some of us are fight or flight. Some of us are flight. Some of us are fight. Some of us are I just stick to myself and I do what I can and I'm a nice person and I hope everything goes well. Other people are like, get off my lawn. And what you're doing is you're feeding those get off my lawn people to make them more paranoid because they're lying. It's crazy. Just insane. So everybody's a bunch of liars. And these are the same people that said Donald Trump said that you should all inject yourself with sterilization stuff. Remember they said that Trump said that you should inject yourself with what, Lysol or something? But he didn't say that. He was just randomly speaking and he was like, maybe there's a way, you can put that inside and kill everything. And I was like, no, you're an idiot. But he wasn't telling you that's what we're going to do. He was saying maybe there's a way you could do that. He was dumb, but he didn't go say, hey, let's go do that. You know what I mean? He did say go get that hydroxychloroquine stuff, which did help and does help, but they said that was a lie. But then it wasn't a lie. So when he's the president, that's a lie. When he's not the president, now we don't say anything. But then they will say FDA approves it. FDA doesn't approve it. Everybody knows that. But you're telling people that they do approve it. What are you talking about? And then Biden says you will not get COVID if you take the vaccine. But you do get COVID when you take the vaccine still. So what are the people supposed to believe when the leaders are fucking liars? Ridiculous. So I understand why there's a bunch of people that don't want to get vaccinated. I know why. Because the government liars. They're liars. You've created paranoid citizens. So now when our science minds tell people that there's something that will help us overall, that we should do, the people aren't going to believe it. Because you've divided them all. You've preyed on division for the last forever, and now you expect everyone to unite as one to agree to something. That's not going to happen when you create division for years and years. It's obvious. It's obvious as hell to me. It's just human nature. It's obvious. Don't be mad. I'm not mad at the anti-vax people. I'm not mad at the anti-vax people, and I'm not mad at the people that don't want to get vaxxed. I'm mad at the governments and the people that lied to all of us and them that created this paranoia. That keep lying to people, and if they didn't lie to people, then people would be like, you know what, the government has been good. They've done well by us. They make sense. This makes sense. Let's all do the right thing. Let's all be together. But the government and the media have spent the last forever trying to divide everybody, lying to people, and covering up for the government. So for the people that are like, okay, it's going to get to wrestling. Hey, Baxter, get the fuck out of my chat, you fucking idiot retard. Get out of my chat, you fucking asshole. Fuck off. I'm never going to get to wrestling now. I'm going to keep talking about this, you dumb fuck. How about that? You're never going to get this. I told you. I've been saying this for years. You're never going to get people to do this stuff. Ridiculous. How come Joe Biden can lie and lie and lie, and the same media that called out Trump for all this stuff sometimes wasn't even true, just doesn't say anything? I don't understand. And I've always voted Democrat, so I'm coming from the left side. I see what's going on here. Does China own us? Does China own Biden? I don't know. Does China own the media? Does Disney own everybody? Who's owned by Disney? Who owns Disney? Media, China, media, Disney, what? Where's Hunter Biden? Where's all the Hunter Biden stuff? Nowhere. It was a hoax. We talked about Russia for 7 years, didn't find anything. Start questioning stuff. because they're using all of us. Now they expect everybody to just go do what they say out of nowhere. Then people always say, oh, America's so terrible. All the other countries are great. You know, they do what's right. Oh, yeah? Then why is France rioting? Like, why are all these protests happening in France and everywhere else for the last years? They have the same thing going on in all the places everywhere because it's human nature to be paranoid. They just have it on a smaller scale because some people trust their governments more. You know, it depends on how you trust your people and your government. You know? So this is a combination of stuff. When you're talking about, oh, my God, no, we're going to go back to masks. We're going to go back to problems and masks and no arenas and everything else. Well, you know you can thank? You can thank the lying government. That's who you can thank. It's not just the people that are stupid. It's the government who lied. Can you imagine if back when JFK said that, you know what, I don't want to bomb our country. Imagine if back then, if you were like, oh my God, the Joint Chiefs of Staff want to bomb our country. Imagine if back then you were like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's a good thing JFK was a conspiracy theorist, wasn't it? It's a good thing JFK put an end to that. It's a good thing JFK said, no chiefs of staff, no government. I don't think bombing Florida is a good idea just so we can go to war with Cuba and take it. I think that's a bad thing to do. I think that's an immoral thing to do, guys. And I think that we should not bomb our own state. I don't know why I just went into a British accent on a Boston accent when I'm from Boston. But it's like, oh, thank God JFK was against it. And then he died 2 weeks later. Go ask some Africans about how some things worked out for them. So there's a reason why. It's not just stupid religious, crazy gun nut people, right? It's not just the stupid right-wing gun nut people that don't want to get the vax. It's not, I know you want it to be that. I always wanted it to be that too, as like a hippie person. I always wanted it to be that too. Oh, it's the religious, stupid idiots. They believe in God, but they don't believe in science. And no, it's not that. It's like most of these people are legitimately like, I don't fucking believe these people. Because you've created this disbelief in them, and most people. So it's not just that. It's not just like, God told me I don't need, it's not that. It's not. If it was that's only a small stereotype. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of scientists who don't want it. You know what I mean? I asked a scientist the other day, hey, why don't you want it? And he goes, well, because I have a problem with inflammation. And the spike proteins in the inflammation could trigger a reaction that's permanent or long-lasting in me, and I don't go anywhere right now. But he also said, oh, maybe getting it could stimulate my body, and I will have a bad reaction, but then it will prepare my body so when I get it, it won't, whatever. But then he said it's mutated so many times at this point that the likelihood of me getting, being protected is like minimal, so it's not worth the risk to even get it for him. That's what he believes. And he's a fucking scientist. You know what I mean? Who studied this for a long time. So even he don't know, and he's studying shit with his own problem that he has with his body. I forget what disease he has, but it's something. Anyway, so this is even someone brilliant or smart is having a tough time flipping the coin of what they want to do. When it comes to this, and I said, well, and when it comes to other things, he didn't have a problem. He goes, oh, I could get that shot all day. I could get this other shot all day because those don't cause the inflammation and the things that this does. And I said, but I thought mRNA doesn't cause inflammation. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But the bottom line is all of this is people are blaming everybody. So now the variants, the mutations now, the worst hit areas now, in some of the Europe areas and other places, right, are the places with the Delta variant or the other variants, and they're resilient to the vaccine. So all these places that are heavily vaxxed are getting these spikes. I don't know. So people now people are blaming the vaccine that it creates the mutation or helps the mutation. or that the virus was engineered to mutate to avoid these things. And they're still not telling you that, maybe. Now, that's allegedly. I don't know. That sounds like a tinfoil thing, but it could be. But then other people are blaming people who aren't vaccinated. So now everybody's blaming everybody, and the fight continues, and now the fight is even crazier than it was before, and we can't get everybody on the same page. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if there is one answer to this, if there was one answer to it, trying to get everybody on the same page? Oh, my God, it's never going to happen at this point. Everyone's too crazy. We're never going to get everyone on the same page. You know, and the amount of misinformation that I see from everybody. Dude, earlier I read a comment from somebody that said, I never got and this is going to the other side. I never got the virus. I've been everywhere. It's all bullshit. Ugh. And I said, dude, you may never get the virus. You could be a carrier. Did you know that? Did you know there's something called carrier? Do you know what a carrier is? Do you know what asymptomatic is? Which, by the way, at first they said you can't get it that way. Then they said you could. Then they said it's less likely, right? So they don't know. But this person online was like, oh, I never got it, and no one, and I haven't, so I don't care. And I was like, well, you don't know. The point is you could carry it. You could carry it, not know it, give it to someone else. They could carry it, give it to someone else, and then that person is the one that gets sick. That's the point, dildo. Like, that is, so like even those people don't even know that. You don't even know that basic thing that you can give it to someone without ever having it. You can give it to someone who gives it to someone who gives it to someone who never knew they had it, who gives it to someone who dies. So, not blaming anyone, I'm just saying, like, that's scary. That's how it can work. That's why it's so scary, because we're all like, seeing is believing, right? Seeing is believing. So if I don't see it, I don't believe it, right? A lot of us have to see it to believe it. And so if you pass it on 6 times and it passes it around, you never know you even had it. That's where some of the positive tests are coming from, where someone's like, what? I'm positive? But then there's also false tests. So there's a whole bunch of tests telling people they're positive when they're false. Because then if you go get a blood test, it reveals that you never had it and you still don't have it. So the test was wrong. So then you go get another test and it positives again. And you're like, what? Then you go get another test and it negatives. And then you test your blood and you realize you never had it or any variant whatsoever. Just bad tests for whatever reason. So that's a possibility too. Because nothing is perfect and everything is gray. And when everything is gray and we don't have an answer one way or the other, oh boy, there's going to be some disinformation and problems going on. And that's what's leading to right now, what they don't know, we don't know what we're going to do. Lockdown again, mini lockdown again, mask mandate again. But mask mandates will happen at SummerSlam. Now let's tie it all back into SummerSlam. By the way, everything I just said is not meant to be scary. I'm not trying to scare everybody. I'm just trying to say that you can see how human nature develops and how it creates these situations. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm sort of just riffing right now about randomness. And, you know, like how typically like maybe a left-leaning person is more science-oriented. They're more likely to believe a little bit of scientific evidence, even if we haven't fully studied it. And a right-wing person sometimes is more likely to believe in God, invisible in the sky, as opposed to believe in some kind of scientific evidence. But seeing is still believing. So if you don't see someone close to you get sick and die, or get really sick, or you yourself haven't experienced something like that, you have a tougher time accepting it and moving into it. But you have seen vaccines and things work. Great. You've seen medical stuff save people's lives. But you've also seen it misused. So, like, people are balancing all this stuff. So I'm just, I'm explaining. I understand. Like, if you're whatever side you're on, I'm telling you that I understand your psychology. Because everybody's experience is different. But my point in just ranting about all this is that, man, it's going to be hard to get on the same page. It's going to be really hard to get on the same page. If the governments and the scientists aren't sure, lie, or continuously divulge disinformation. And then when people have actual things to report that could be true, factual, or even just data, if it's shut down, you're shutting down people's opinions or data or research or experience. So we're going to be going in a circle for a long time if that's the case with this. So, in my opinion, this has shown to me that we are not evolved enough yet, medically, scientifically, evolved enough yet to get to the point where we can just take care of a pandemic like that. So, with that being said, it just seems like this is going to sort of dwindle down and down and down slowly over time, right, guys? I think. So we're looking at 2 to 5 years of this. So for the people that wonder what's going on, it looks like we're looking at 2 to 5 years of this. Of every year, there's a couple of spikes of, the cases, this now the mutation of, whatever. And it's going to take probably 2 to 5 years. And in about 5 years, it's almost non-existent, I would think, potentially. Maybe. Or it's like kind of like the flu, everybody's getting some kind of thing that, I guess, I'm not sure. But, I guess it would be 2 to 5 years to root this thing out. Based on the previous pandemics of 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and things like that. Unless this is an engineered thing that's going to start getting worse and worse as it goes. Which would definitely indicate it was man-made in some kind of way to avoid vaccines and avoid things, and which it's doing already, strangely. Tons of vaccinated people keep testing positive. People can get it twice. It's really just going to have to hit. It's almost like it's going to have to hit us all. We're all going to have to get it multiple times. And our immune systems are going to have to be like, oh, shit, we get this. And then we're going to have babies and pass on to our babies the immunities. And we're going to have to develop this lifelong herd immunity to this thing until that finally stamps it out. Because if you get a vaccine and you delay if you get a vaccine and it delays, right? So you don't get the Delta variant and you don't get the original variant because you get a vaccine. But then when it becomes X variant, the X variant actually bypasses the Delta and previous variant inoculation. So then the X variant gets into you and just fucks you up. And in the end, it didn't matter if you had anything because you're just going to catch it. Or it kills you because you didn't get the first two. Whereas somebody who caught the disease and lived through it is now way more immune. So later on, when the other variant comes along, your body is like, oh, fuck you. I've seen this shit. It's a mutation, but I've seen this shit. But maybe you never catch it and you just get the vaccine. And then so that skips you on the other two versions. And then the third version comes along and kills you. I don't know. There's so many different ways this could go. I'm not a scientist. Don't listen to me. I'm just making ideas about where this path could go. So the point is, tie this all back in with wrestling, and then let's get to wrestling. But basically, I felt like going on a rant because that guy told me I wasn't allowed to talk about this. But I got news for you. I'm allowed to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about on my show. So fuck off. But I am sorry for talking about this for so long. I want to move on from COVID. I want to talk about wrestling. And the good news is we are coming out of it a bit and things are looking better. We're just getting it goes way up, it comes down, then you get those little blips. Hopefully that's what's happening. So hopefully what I said was a little more crazier than what it really we're going to deal with. Let's go back to wrestling. So Nevada issues mask mandate. SummerSlam. It could have a little bit of a thing, but we still should be all right getting our wrestling in. Now, the Saudi Arabia Queen of the Ring, that's weird. So we're going over to Saudi Arabia for the Queen of the Ring. They will hold the all-women's tournament finals in the kingdom. So in a place where, I don't know, they'll be like quiet. Will they be cheered? It was kind of nice the last time we saw women wrestle in Saudi Arabia. Remember the look on the people's faces and how excited people were about this change or difference? And I know that some people would say like, oh, yeah, WWE are scumbags for working with a place like this. And, they'll, and it's weird because it's hard to say. Because not that long ago, they hacksawed a journalist, right? We made the shirts, the WWE Saudi Arabia shirts with the hacksaw, the bone saw. They cut a journalist up with a bone saw, right? So that's bizarre and horrific. And WWE works with them. But our own government does drone strikes on children, so I don't know. WWE works with our government. WWE works with all the TV stations here. We bomb children. We blow the limbs, body parts, stomachs, and heads off children. So for anybody who's like, oh, WWE is working with Saudi Arabia, they bone sawed a journalist recently. You know, that was the big thing. Yeah, that's disgusting and gross. But I mean, we do that. So what do you want to do? Are you going to stop watching everything on TV? Are you going to stop buying products made in China? Products made by bad companies? No, you're not going to do it. Because you didn't see it. So now if you were in a town in Afghanistan, and you saw the families of the people, and you got to hang out with them for a week. Families just like your family, who's looking for food, you know, trying to have a little job on the side. You know, you're living kind of in poverty. You got a little outhouse bathroom, and you're taking care of your kids, and there's problems, teeth, health, and you're working, and you see how a mother and father love their children. And you spend a week with them and you go, man, these people are just like us. Like, this is so horrible. Like, I wish I could help the living conditions. And then suddenly a strike happens from America or from something that we built and blows off those kids and families' heads. Maybe then you're like, okay, I'm not going to support shit anymore. Or maybe if you've seen a kid being forced to work for nothing to eat bread in some Asian country while he makes your shoes that you're going to wear on your feet for a company like Nike, and you saw the kid's fingers bleeding and how the working conditions are, maybe then you'd be like, fuck, I'm never buying Nike again. I'm never buying these fucking shoes again. LeBron, I'm never buying your shoes again. It's silly in America. Oh, LeBron James shoes. Cool. But maybe when you see the kid bleeding who doesn't get taken care of, and the people in the factories or wherever the fuck, maybe then you're like, oh, shit. I'm not buying those shoes anymore. But you didn't see that, really. We just talk about it, sort of, and people go, oh, yeah, that's sort of I don't even think about that. I try not to think about that. Or you make jokes about it. Like, and but you make jokes about it, like I do. And we all just kind of, like, buy it anyway and just, whatever, you know. But when you see it, then maybe you go, yeah, I'm not fucking buying those shoes again. But you have to see it to believe it. Goes back to that, right? You have to see it to believe it. It's kind of funny. The point is everybody's full of shit. That's the point. Shit bomb! Yeah.
You become a shit bomb.
Ryan the Heel, what's up? Thanks for the $1, man. Shout out to Ryan the Heel, and shout out to all the producers on Patreon. Without you guys, this show can't happen. So thank you, man. I'll be shouting them out a little bit later. These are the $25 producers from July, plus Jake's podcast. I did a real fun podcast with his friend. That's up on Patreon now. The whole thing's full. It's up on Patreon. It's amazing. It's great stuff. Boom.
Duncachino?
Don't mind if I do.
What's my name?
Duncachino.
It's a whole new game.
Duncachino.
You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Say hello to my chocolate blend.
I had the Josh on and Josh on. It was worst pain and sick I ever been. Was better after couple days.
I had the Johnson & Johnson. It was the worst pain and sick I have been. Was better after a couple days. Yeah. Red Comet, man. Thanks for the $5, man. Yeah, you have a bigger chance, Red Comet Man, thank you. You have a bigger chance of getting that type of sick. I'm not worried about that because it's supposed to happen. I'm not worried about getting a vaccine and then getting sick for a couple of days. That's supposed to happen, especially with the Johnson & Johnson one, because the Johnson & Johnson one is the old school version, where you're putting the virus in you, a dead virus in you. So you're going to get sick. Yeah, you're probably going to get something a little bit, or your body's going to get it really quickly, take care of it quickly. Depends on how your immune system wants to respond to it. Your immune system might get it and be like, boom, you're gone. You don't even know you didn't even get any symptoms. But you may get a vaccine and then you may get kind of sick for a week. It depends on your immune system, but either way, that's the point. You're supposed to feel kind of because your body starts going to get it. So your body goes into, we're sick, we're going to get this thing, we're sick. So you're supposed to get sick. When you get a flu vaccine or whatever, sometimes people feel like, oh my God, I don't feel so good. It's actually because they put the goddamn virus in you and your body starts to go to sick mode. You might get even warm and stuff. Well, it starts to practice. But once it does it, your body goes, oh, all right, we killed it. Cool. That was easy. We get it. And then that's it. You're over it. And then if you ever catch that strain, nothing happens because your body goes, oh, we got it. So it's obviously, I used to actually not get I actually didn't understand how they worked years ago. And I used to get mine and be like, oh, I'm not getting it anymore. It just makes me sick. But it's like, yeah, that's supposed to happen. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. I'm a two-dimensional thinker. It takes me a while. No, you don't get sick because of the flu vaccine either. Yes, you do. You don't necessarily get sick. Some people do. Some people don't. Depends how fast your body takes care of it. When you introduce the vaccine into your body, the flu vaccine into your body, your body starts going to get it. So it's like it starts the process of, oh, we're going to kill this thing. That's what you want your body to do because your body's realizing the pattern or the flu or the strain or whatever. So the vaccine affects your DNA, gives your DNA the instructions on how to fight it. What up, Ratnick? Yeah, that's how the COVID thing works. That's the mRNA one. It's like you're imprinting your blood with the DNA of the virus. Here, blood, this is what it does. Keep this instruction here. It's weird. It's different. The blood clots and seizures from what? From the COVID one? I'm talking about the flu vaccine. I mean, you might be talking about the COVID one. We're talking about two different things. The Johnson & Johnson one is the old school style, which is like injecting the dead virus into you. So your body can be like, yo, let's go get that. And then the mRNA is the one that puts the blueprints of the virus in your blood. So your body can recognize it. The whole point, I think, is, I don't know this. I'm not a doctor. Just please talk to your doctors, everybody. Don't talk to me. There could be multiple reasons why it's good or bad for you. That's why you need to talk to your doctor. That's why everybody needs to talk to their doctor. But no, when you inject it in, what you're hoping for is to not get that spike protein that creates the inflammation, right? You're hoping that it will stop it before it gets to that stage of heart inflamed, heart problems, brain problems. Yeah. What up, Spanish Sloth? How you doing, man? I'm your Dr. Perp. What's going on, man? It's not FDA approved. That's true. Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. Was that Joe Biden said, "Hey, if you get the shot, you won't get you won't get COVID." Oh, that's a lie. And then the press secretary of the White House said, "Oh, it's approved by the FDA." No, it's not. I went on this rant months ago, though. I said this months ago. I recently heard a few people talking about this today and yesterday, and it popped up in my mind. I'm like, yeah, I've been saying this for months. Hilarious these people get away with it. But yeah, I know a lot of people that are vaccinated. They're fine. Nothing happened. They were great. Nothing happened. They had a little soreness in the arm. Some people got the stiff neck thing a little bit. Some people were a little groggy for a couple days. Yeah, we haven't talked about Joey Jordison. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. I can't believe the drummer from Slipknot, Joey Jordison, is dead. That's still, I can't believe it. Ridiculous. Just crazy shit to me. We had a fun Monetize This last Saturday. If you guys missed Monetize This and hadn't been watching, watch that one. It was good. It was all around fun from the beginning to the end to me, so I had a lot of fun. This Friday night, Monetize This returns to Friday night this Friday. And shout out to everybody who watched that. And again, the Queen of the Ring will take place in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how it's one of those things where I wish it was not there. I wish it was here, but then maybe it will be a nice moment for them over there. I don't know. Maybe we can move forward into, women getting more rights, getting more things. WWE is trying to help issue that in or usher that in, maybe. I don't know. Or is it a big BS move, for PR over there? I don't know. And are they still going to saw people in half? I don't know. And the guy from Better Call Saul, yeah, he collapsed on set. Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know what's up with that. I don't think it's happening in Saudi Arabia, says Ratnick. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's happening in Saudi Arabia. Exactly, Gerald Armstrong. It's emergency authorized, which you can understand. You can understand why we would emergency authorize something. Because the checks and balances and crazy stuff that things have to go through to get approved in years it takes, stuff can't be even available for years. Like, part of the rules have to do with, years. You have to do yearly testing, all these things. It would take 5 years to get approved by the FDA. So since they can't really do it, they're like, okay, so emergency approved? That way they're not undermining all the things that they've approved to say, oh, anything can just be approved, see? So they have to not approve it, because if they approve it, then if something goes wrong, think about this. When the FDA approves something that's been studied for 5 to 10 years, yeah, things can still go wrong. But usually the stuff is on a small scale, right? Like, okay, the FDA approved a drug for hearing loss. It can help with hearing loss. And so there's 5 million people that are going to take it in the next couple of years. But with COVID, we're talking about 1 billion people taking this thing. So it's on a mass level. So there's so much more room for more things to go wrong, or for more, different adverse things to happen. So you can't just approve it, because if they do, that it's their ass on everything then. Okay, everything you approved is bogus. So you do the best you can for the last 6 months to a year, which is what they did. And then they came up with something, and they were like, we're pretty sure about this. So they go emergency approved, So but it's not approved, but it's emergency approved. And what does that mean anyway? So I get where all the runaround comes from. But yeah, Vince McMahon is, I don't know what's going to happen with Vince McMahon, as far as that goes, the news with the Queen of the Ring and things like that. What's up, buddy?
I really want this Minecraft Sonic game.
Yeah?
Yeah,
What does it cost money?
I think so.
It's not free? Is it on Roblox?
No, it's on Minecraft.
Oh, it's on Minecraft?
Yeah,
How much is it?
I think $2.
$2?
Yeah, I think that. And why does it have so many stars?
I don't know. Oh, because it got a good rating. That means it got a good rating if it's got 2 stars or a lot of stars. Okay. It's $2. What did Mommy ask you to tell me? Did Mommy have you come tell me?
He said because I really want it, so I can become like Sonic.
Okay. All right. So it's like a themed Sonic thing in Minecraft.
Can you get it for me?
Okay, you can get it. You might need Mommy's help. You know how to do it? Okay, you can get it. Yep, he was sent to ask. Your buddy Cyclops is saying that Jeff Hardy hadn't tested positive for COVID. He was going to beat Cross again this past week. Yes, I agree. I said that. I even said that the other night. I go, I bet you he would have lost to him again. But they changed plans, and so then they give Cross the win because the two guys in the story, one was out, and then they put Cross in. And that's why I said, I wonder if the stories are true that Keith Lee is actually leaving, because they were like, okay, what fodder do we have for Karrion Kross, who last week we thought was a scumbag and made lose, and now he's going to beat somebody. Instead of going with the he loses again story or inserting someone new into the Jeff Hardy story, they give him fodder. And I'm not talking about the guy who wrestled EC3 in a match recently on Controlling Your Narrative on Vimeo and now on Fight TV. I'm talking about the fodder of Keith Lee. So, oh, dude, I never got the beta for Halo. Yeah, you know what? I tried to fill it out and I couldn't remember my passwords. I screwed up big time, man. I'm dying to play that. Oh, my God, I wish I could play that so bad. Like, I'm really upset about that. I was so busy yesterday that I didn't notice that was going on because I was out all day doing stuff and moving my father-in-law. Yo.
Which one do you press to get it?
I don't know. Can you ask Mommy? She'll do it.
Wait.
She can do it.
But do you press the coin one to get it?
I think so. But ask Mommy. She can do it. She'll know what it is. Is it too late to sign up for the beta? I don't know. It probably is now. I wish it wasn't. My problem was I couldn't get into my account. I got to reset my password because I forgot my password. And I just changed it recently, so now I got to change it again to something that I'll remember. Stupid ass. Be your own doctor, control your own life, F yourself over, who cares, says Be the Messiah. I don't know what that means, but I don't even have a doctor. I have no health insurance, and I have no doctor. Could you get me a doctor? Could you send me $5,000? I need a doctor. I'll probably die at, like, some age if I don't get, unless I start making some crazy amount of money on my other jobs and other places and everywhere, then I'll probably get a doctor again. You can go to a walk-in clinic when you're sick, though, for like $90. That's cool. I don't know, man. I haven't had time to think about anything, do anything, nothing. I was out all day yesterday. I'm sore as shit today. We got the AEW Dynamite review tonight. I got to clean a bunch of stuff still. I didn't even do some work I was supposed to do. The list goes on. I have to find documents for something. I haven't found those yet. I'm supposed to call this, that, and the other thing. I didn't do that. I'm so behind in almost everything. It's unbelievable. I have no time for almost anything. I have no idea about most anything. Be but want to silent Joe and others who have opinions. What's that? Oh, are you talking to somebody else? England and UK healthcare is free. Did you know that, America? Says Junior Jackson. Yes, we did. It's free in Canada, too. It's a pain in the butt, though. But it's free. It's kind of like if you say something's free, and so like a giant line of 1,000 people show up out the door, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go down to the soup kitchen because it's free, but you're going to be in line for 2 hours, and maybe they even run out of soup before you get in. But then across the street is the soup guy, and the soup guy charges $3 or $20, and you just decide, fuck it, and you spend the $20 because you don't want to wait in the line. So, like, that's like what Canadians tell me that. I'm just saying what people in Canada tell me. They're like, yeah, it's great that it's free. And if you get the right area, the doctors, the luck of the draw, the timing, and whatever, it's great. You can walk right in, but then there's other times where you happen to come in at the wrong time. And there's people dying of people that needed surgery for surgeries where they left objects in people or where they did something wrong. People have died because they weren't able to get their follow-up surgeries because they were put on a waiting list in America because of COVID. It wasn't a priority to do that. So the amount of people that have died from surgeries that were basic necessities because they were denied the surgery because of COVID is in the tens of thousands. So nobody cares about that, though. Can you imagine, like, you go into surgery, the doctors leave something in you by accident, and you get a stomach pain, and then 2 months later, they're like, oh, yeah, shit, we left something in there. We're going to have surgery, so we're going to have surgery to get that out of you. Oh, this COVID thing's going on. You have to wait till that's over, though. You'll be all right. You're dead. Thanks. That's awesome. That makes sense. That's weird. Be the Messiah. I think left-wing and right-wingers don't like truth, even when slapped in the face with it. I think you can throw the left wing into that too now. You can throw the left and the right into it. I've always thought that about the right too, B. I've always agreed with you there, but I would throw the left wing in there too now. A lot of people you could slap in the face with truth. Problem is I already went over this rant. It's not one or the other. It's somewhere in the middle. That's the problem. It's not this or that. It's somewhere in here. And so to get this or that to agree to it's somewhere in here, and what we're going to do now? Can't get it. Can't get it. Can't get this and this to realize that the answer is somewhere over here. Because everything in here is vague enough that this or that is going to pull from whatever they want to make it go this or that, when it's really floating around in here somewhere. That's why I believe both parties are fucking idiots. And everybody on every side will tell you the other one's more insane or more crazy. But you just can't do that. You just got to realize they're both nuts. And you got to try to get out of that. You're out of it now. Get out, leave it. If you leave it, then then things will work out for you better. But there's a ton of wrestling news besides Saudi Arabia, besides COVID. Eric Bischoff says Nick Gage's style of wrestling is bad for the industry. Eric Bischoff saying Nick Gage's wrestling style is bad for the industry. I mean, dude, I would argue that almost all the wrestling styles now are probably bad for the industry. But whatever. It is the industry. These things are the industry at this point. And by the way, it's not going to be the Nick Gage style of I almost wonder, these guys have been watching some of these indie promotions recently. And I feel like the thing with Matt Cardona the other day. And all these little death matchy things or moments or bloody spots and things. And they're like, oh, we're going to do that here. I mean, I think it's I don't know, man. I'd give some respect to, Tony Khan. There's a little bit of buzz around Nick Gage. And then so Tony goes, okay, people now kind of know who this guy is, or at least some people do. There's at least 300,000 people, that kind of have been hearing about Nick Gage from the TV show that they did, The Dark Side, whatever it is. I didn't see it. But, there's a good amount of people that kind of saw this and now know who this guy is. Why not use that for a minute and bring him in and do something? I don't have a problem with using something like that. To me, it's just something that you do in wrestling. You see something kind of hot or a little bit buzzed about, and you go, all right, let's use that. I don't think that style of wrestling is going to be there's a small market for that. There always will be. There always kind of has been. So, I don't know, saying that it's not good for the business, I don't agree with that. I don't think it matters. I think it's a small little niche somewhere that maybe 100,000 people like it. There's got to be 100,000 people to 150,000 people out there that like death matches, right? Probably. So there's a small little market for it. There's people that like shit, to eat shit in Philly. There's a market for it somewhere. It doesn't hurt wrestling to me. It's not even really wrestling. It's like death match. It's a choreographed bloodbath. It's choreographed mutilation. It's not even done in the way that like where WWE is done. Like you can almost some people will say, oh, glorified stuntman or whatever. That's better than in some of the hardcore things. They're just doing stuff and you don't know where the glass is gonna go. You don't know where the barbed wire is gonna sever, cut, or whatever. You don't know what's going to happen when you jump off a fucking roof like Joey Janela did. That's a stuntman type of thing. But it's almost just kind of like not giving a shit if you get hurt. That's not, stuntmen are really prepped and they really know a lot of things about what they're doing and how they're falling and landing and doing things. These deathmatch people, a lot of these people, they just like, let's go get fucked up. I don't mind if people like it. And sometimes I watch them and I enjoy them. Sometimes I don't really love the stabbing and the weird. I don't know. I don't get into that. I like a hardcore match though. Like I like a bloody hardcore match once in a while, and I like when matches have that incorporated into them. But just the straight out like I'm gonna cut you with a cleaver and stuff. Like I don't know. I just don't get into that. I don't get into that. But I don't think that there's no place for it. Clearly, if there's an audience, a crowd, there's a place for it. People are paying for it. Who gives a shit? There's a place for Sean's View.
Shit bomb!
You become
What up, Marvin Watt?
bomb.
How you doing, Marvin Watt?
69 later, back to work I go.
Thank you, Marvin Watt. Back to work you go, brother. Thanks for the $2. All the karma coming back to Shawn Michaels. Age made him look like Nick Gage. That's funny. That is funny. What up, Marvin? How you doing, man? I actually like the light bulbs.
Shit bomb!
They should just do another Great Balls of Fire. Just in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, my God. Imagine they do Great Balls of Fire, but in Saudi Arabia. Quick commercial. That'd be really funny. Great Balls of Fire, but in Saudi Arabia. Gerald Armstrong, thank you for the $5 and becoming a $5 shit bum. Much appreciated. That would be funny. Well, Vince loves it. Vince absolutely loves it. Some more donos coming in. Let's see what else is what's up.
Shit bomb!
You become a shit bomb.
R.I.P. Joey Jodison.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace to Joey Jordison. We really haven't talked about him much because I was away when it happened, mostly. And I'm shocked. I'm in, shock about it. Like, what? This guy's dead. He's 46. I grew up really, I just can't believe it, man.
Shit bomb!
I can't even get
You
into it because I
become
can't believe he's dead.
A shit bomb.
How about that weather modification they did in Dubai?
What up, Gerald Armstrong? I don't know about that. You should tell me about that in a little DM or email. Gerald Armstrong, thank you. I know that they are studying weather modification big time, and they are performing it. And that's something that we used to talk about on Final Frontier News about the weather generators, the modification. It's not a joke. It's not a tinfoil hat that they're really doing this stuff with weather.
Shit bomb!
They're going to be able to do anything they want.
You become
You need rain?
a shit bomb.
We're going to be using it in California.
I put a super chat on Vince Russo's YouTube about the Gage/Cardona match and the trashing of the ring. He said that was a work.
I saw that some people were told to throw stuff or planted to throw things, and so everybody would. I mean, that's one of the oldest tricks in the book. So Gerald Armstrong, whether it was or not, it looked awesome and it worked out. So screw it. If it was a work, or if it was a helped along, like, hey, you two are going to throw these bottles, or you six are going to throw these bottles, and hopefully everybody will follow suit. Listen, if they did that, then hats off to them for getting that to happen. And shout out to Dusty Hill from ZZ Top. What? I was out all day yesterday, guys. I have not paid any attention. Oh my God, he just died. What the hell? Dusty Hill from ZZ Top is dead. Holy shit. That's awful. What a terrible day. What the hell is going on? Wow. What the hell? Wow. We're going to have to change the title of this video. I know I wanted to talk about Joey, but shit. I can't believe that I'm reading the news now. Shit, I had no idea. What the hell? We lost Joey. We lost fucking DMX. He might be creeping. His ass might be leaking. He's wearing the pants, forgetting his pen, forgetting his friends. Is this how it ends? But we'll still pretend that Biden can defend. Oh, it's a weekend in Biden's. No matter what they say. He's friends with all of the Nazis. Communism in China's great. It's America he hates.
My new favorite tag team, The Acclaimed.
Oh, listen. Kurt, thank you for the $10, Kurt. The new $10 Biden donation. Thank you. We got rid of the Trump one and the Hillary one since those were old OGs from a while back. We brought in the Biden one. New president, new dono. Now it's in the $10 spot. I like The Acclaimed. I really do. Without the rapping, and the one guy who's really good, I don't even remember the name, they would not, it would be nothing. They've got a huge gimmick going on with that. It really is good, man. I've really enjoyed it. I really like them. And we said this kind of from the beginning a bit. What's up, Elijah? Thank you for saying that. I don't know why that got timed out. But B makes a great point. Painmaker didn't exactly make it into the American market. I wonder how it's going to work again. I think it's just going to work temporarily. I just think it's something temporarily that Jericho's doing to try to change his character around to equal the Nick Gage factor or whatever. That's it. I don't think it'll be here quickly and then gone. And I think that's all. I think that's all it is. Thanks to Gerald before that, and Kurt, thank you for the $10. That is sexy of you. Thank you guys for supporting the channel and the stream with the donations. Not only was I busy moving people last couple days and moving things, and that's why I haven't been here and doing as many podcasts. I'm back now. But I was also playing Diablo a lot. In fact, me and Leah were playing Diablo the other night. So me and Leah hit about 700 Paragon, and I love this season. It's missing something else. I wish it had something else, but I've enjoyed the season of Diablo right now. I'm having a blast with it. Hitting the wall a little bit now finally, but some of the most powerful I've ever been in a season. It's crazy. I think I'm on the leaderboard for America for non-set, which is the first time I've ever hit a leaderboard. In the top 30s, which is crazy. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's a side note about being a dork. Let me see. Florida Middle School was named after Titus O'Neil. If you guys haven't seen that, that's pretty crazy. They named a Florida middle school after Titus O'Neil, which is a good thing to me because Titus O'Neil is just a fucking awesome person. Titus O'Neil is the shit. You know? He goes, I was once labeled, I've heard his story a million times, but I was once labeled the bad kid, told I'd be dead or in jail by 16. And, you know, that's the problem is people tell kids this too much. The poor guy was told this. Titus O'Neil is awesome. I love this guy. So, Titus O'Neil is a sweet man from what I understand. And he's done nothing but nice things to us and to me. When people tried to come after me, Titus was like cool to me and cool to us, cool especially to me, saying, you know, it's everybody's comedy is different and you do your thing. That's crazy. And I watch what he does with the communities out there and his community involvement, community reach, and all he does for WWE. What Titus does, Titus is employed by the WWE. Yeah, as a superstar, a little bit. But really right now, he's employed by the WWE as an ambassador, as a coach, as a life trainer, as public relations, and somebody who can actually make differences in people's shit. He sees a problem and he goes to the WWE and says, hey, I heard about this school that has this problem. How could we do something? And it would look good for us and everything. And then the WWE goes, oh, it would look good for us, Titus. Okay, yeah, go do that. And then Titus takes the WWE money and goes and does something nice for kids who don't have money or poverty or have a problem. So he uses that influence to take the WWE's money and then do things with it because that's what they want. So and I know that's like, oh, it's WWE just trying to get attention. Yeah, whatever, fine. Use it however you can. But Titus is doing it because he really wants to help people. So if he can use the WWE's billions of dollars to help some people, some kids and children get books and healthcare and food and things like that. So Titus is great. Anybody that shits on Titus is a fucking idiot. I don't care if he doesn't wrestle really anymore and yeah, whatever. That's not the point of Titus. And he's so much older now, he can barely move in the ring anyway. So it's good that he shows up to go, look, I'm a superstar. So then he still has some kind of validation when he sees kids. What's up? I know. We were just talking about it. Hey, what was the door earlier? Oh, okay. Some salesperson. Wasn't the deck people. So, yeah, just a great, I love Titus. I just, that guy's just such a great guy. I can't say enough about that. He's like cool to everybody. You got to be a real piece of crap for Titus not to like you. You know what I mean? And Titus is also the type of guy, too, I think that, if he didn't like you or didn't whatever, you could talk to him and he would be like, all right. I don't know. It just seems like a good guy. So, and Conan, too. K-Dog's another guy that I really like Conan. Conan's so real that I think he's super real. And I think he's very legitimate in things he says. I think he's got a lot of backbone. I think he's got, I have this crazy respect for these people, especially when people, would say something about me and then Conan would speak up and say, I don't think that about Joe Cronin. I think this, you're full of shit and he's just doing comedy. And this is how he is. And the fact that he would do that and not jump on the bandwagon, that speaks a lot to me too. And a lot of his takes, it's like, man, I agree exactly with that take. So that's what I like about Conan. Those are two guys that have, and same thing with Thunder Rosa too. It's like all these people that seem to like you guys or gravitate to shows, no matter what they are. They've all got this sort of this real part. Like I can feel that you're a real person. You're not some fake, weirdo or whatever. What else? So Titus is getting a middle school named after him. That's cool. Tony Khan was asked about CM Punk, Daniel Bryan signing. Remember I said this is going to happen? How's Tony Khan going to avoid these questions? And what's his answer going to be? So this is super interesting to read this. This is really cool. I'm about to read this for the first time. He said, I have no comment on those, Khan said. Those are good questions, but I can't comment on those. I can't comment on those two guys, Khan said. but I think there are certainly a lot of exciting rumors right now. Oh, my God. That's hilarious. I wish I could remember now what me and Jake said, but me and Jake a week ago, I said, you know how we're going to have a good telltale sign of what's going on is based on Tony Khan's reaction, because he's going to have to respond to this shit. And now the two theories are this. One theory is that, oh, it's leaked out, and Tony's like, oh, fuck, it leaked out. You know, we were supposed to surprise everybody. Or the other theory and rumor, and this is the real rumor that I really heard. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. But the real rumor is that Tony Khan wants it to be out there. The same way that it got out there that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were coming to WCW back in the day. The way that many people knew they were coming, you know, or leaving WWF. That way they could make this big impact when they showed up. It wasn't just like, who are these guys? Or, wow, these guys are here. It was sort of like expected in a way. But, you know, this is a different time. So I still like my idea. And I understand that one could debut at one place and one other could debut at another place. In my opinion, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm debuting both of these guys as soon as possible. What if there's a lockdown? What if there's a shutdown? What if there's a limited capacity situation again? And we go without crowds for a month to 3 months or whatever. If you have a full crowd at your next pay-per-view or next big show, I'm doing it ASAP to get them on TV with a crowd reaction. You know what I mean? You don't know what shit's going to look like in October, November, December. I don't know. Nobody knows. So I'm getting these fucking guys out there on TV ASAP. Tony Khan wants a Scott Hall moment. I told you guys this is what I would do. I already told you my idea. I'm not going to go over it again for like blah, blah, blah. This was Joe's idea. But really quickly, my idea is basically this. Tony Khan says, we're going to be announcing a big surprise at All Out or All In or whatever's in Chicago next. I don't even remember the fucking pay-per-view. It's coming up in Chicago. We're going to announce a huge signing. And he's got a challenge coming his way. There is somebody in AEW that wants to challenge the man we are signing. The big announcement in Chicago. And then basically what I would do if I was Tony Khan is I would start to really basically like get the news about Daniel Bryan going. Really get the news about Bryan going. And I would bring out Daniel Bryan at Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now introduce one of my special guests. You guys know that this was happening tonight. Here he is, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan comes out. Place is blowing up, going crazy. Oh my God, that's the big reveal. It's Daniel Bryan. Holy shit. People are like, fuck, I knew it was Bryan. I knew, like, we knew about it. We knew it. Oh, they're fucking crying and screaming. And then Tony Khan says, now I know you guys are excited, but you've all known we were going to hire Daniel Bryan. You guys have heard the rumors about the signing and what's going on with Daniel Bryan. And we're certainly happy to have him. And this is the biggest news maybe in AEW history. And then, but the big signing is somebody else tonight. And he's Daniel Bryan's opponent, blah, blah. Boom, CM Punk comes out. Blah, people just coming everywhere. I just can't get over that idea. If I'm AEW, rather, I thought I pulled a JR. If I'm AEW, I'm going that route. I'm going for the double pop. I'm going for it all in one night. Now, if there was no pandemic, maybe I would do one and then one 3 months later. And that way it's a slow rollout. You know, maybe I do that. And maybe that is what they will do, but still, because of COVID, I might opt for that double moment of, you know, basically telegraphing Daniel Bryan's going to be there. It's going to be Daniel Bryan. And then bringing out Bryan. And then bringing out CM Punk. Because first the crowd's going to pop because they're like, yes, we got what we wanted. And they basically said this is going to happen. And it would be really cool if Tony Khan also made an announcement after Bryan came out that, and guys, we're not done yet. there is so much talent around the world that wants to come to AEW. At the next pay-per-view in 4 months from now, there's going to be another signing announced and more to come after that. And the crowd pops and goes crazy. And it'd be so cool if then he said, but even with that being said, and Daniel Bryan being in the ring with me right now, you know, let's bring out another big signing right now, you know, like, and that would just, people just lose it, you know. But I only like that idea if you're booking it Daniel Bryan versus Punk right away. Like, Punk versus Bryan is the match. If that's the situation, that's the only reason I like this introduction. Otherwise, it should be without Tony Khan. It should be like Punk showing up, Daniel Bryan showing up, like randomly, you know, on their own, involving themselves in stories somewhere. I'm not a big fan of Tony Khan introducing them unless they're, you know, there's a reason that they're tagging together or they're facing each other. And I think facing each other is the way to go. That Tony Khan, you know, the whole point in them signing is that the first thing they're doing is having this mega match against each other in AEW. And maybe one of them knows about it or doesn't know about it, but I think it'd be kind of cool if they both knew about it. Because it doesn't make any sense that Bryan, I signed Bryan, and now all of a sudden Punk comes out after that, like, opposing Bryan, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, you could make that a story like, you know, I was supposed to get you at a big show 7 years ago. That never happened. I want you now type of thing. Or I almost, and I know that normally I don't like involving Tony Khan in the stories, and I don't want Tony Khan involved too much in stuff, and I'm sure he doesn't want to be either, but this is one of those times where I don't think I mind him saying, I booked this match. I got these guys because they wanted this match, I wanted this match, and they were going to have this match at some point somewhere. And if this match is going to happen, it's going to happen in AEW. And, you know, Punk and Daniel Bryan can kind of be babyface, you know, double babyface. You know, it's like we want to see who's better on a big stage, and there's no bigger stage than AEW, and that's the point. You know, I'm sort of okay with that sort of UFC style match being booked. You know, and I think it's like Tony Khan sort of looking at the boxing world and the UFC world of, hey, they make these matchups, they build it up for a while, and then they happen. Jake Paul is going to box this other famous guy, and, you know, so this is their version of that. But I understand debuting them at two separate shows, because you can get a huge pop momentum at one show, then 4 months later, huge pop and momentum at another show. And I agree that saving them for that is a great idea and is valuable, because it can help keep the steam rolling. And why shoot your load all in one shot? I understand that. And so I still don't know what I would go with 100%, but these are just ideas that I'm thinking out loud on. But one of the things that plays a factor is COVID, because the worst thing would be, no fans again. Are we going to debut Brody Lee and Matt Hardy again like that? I don't know. Yeah, Dusty Hill has passed away. And Joey Jodison died the other day. Crazy, man. I like ZZ Top a little bit. I wasn't like, you know, everybody likes ZZ Top somewhat, right? Some song you know about. Slipknot is probably an acquired taste too, but Slipknot and ZZ Top, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people, man, we're at the age now where we're losing people like crazy that we know, or that we grew up listening to, whatever, you know, DMX, Joey, Dusty Hill, and just a million other things, a million other people that we could rant through the list of everybody that's died. Starting with Kobe, basically. I mean, it didn't start with anybody. Everybody dies all the time. But, I mean, you know, it really felt like Kobe went and then just this slew of people. You know? What if you were doing the show and we're the one? I don't know what Gentle on James. What up, Gentle on James? Thanks for the DM. I'm not sure what that means 100%. He asked me something, but I'm not really sure. I started watching this sci-fi series last night, and I got hooked on it. I have started watching a million sci-fi series or just shows. And guys, you know what happens usually? I watch episode 1, and I go, I think I might watch this. And then I watch episode 2. And I go, and then by episode 3, I punch out. I'm like, nope, I think I'm done. I'm done. For whatever reason. And if you know me, I am a gigantic Star Trek fan. Yeah, Joey was one of the top 5 metal drummers, hands down, Slow Death. I mean, Vinnie Paul was sucked when he died. Joey is just crazy. So I'm a big Star Trek fan, obviously. I don't like the new Star Trek. I think the new Star Trek is more like current sci-fi movies and series. It's too dystopian, and people are swearing and shit fuck and fuck me and shit on you and we're going to do something controversial, and it's like, this is not Star Trek. Okay? So the problem is, if Star Trek wasn't Star Trek, it was like dark space adventure, I would watch it. I'd be like, it's all right, I'll watch it. But because it's Star Trek, I can't watch it. Star Trek Discovery is an abomination. Star Trek Picard is a fucking abomination of Star Trek TNG. So, but I love the Orville. The Orville is like old Star Trek, but with a little comedy thrown in. I also have been trying to find sci-fi shows all the time. So, I came across one last night, and I've watched a whole bunch of them. I like what's the I like the really weird sci-fi show Dark what is it? Dark Mirror or something like that, whatever that one is. I don't know. I don't remember the names of things anymore. I think the names are horrible. Although the Mirror one's a pretty good name. I just don't remember. This other one that's out there gets a horrible fucking rating and review. I kind of like it though. I kind of fucking like it. American Horror Story is pretty good. I like that. This show is called Another Life, produced by Netflix. And I actually like this show. Like, it's not, like, in a weird way, in an Armageddon / The Rock way. This show, at first I was like, man, I don't buy this. You know, there's a bunch of, like, kids on a ship, seemingly, who are all, like, potty mouths, and they're supposed to be smart, brilliant science people who got picked for this mission. And it's like, I don't buy most of them. Like, I don't buy most of these people. I buy her, and I kind of buy her a little bit. And I buy the doctor, but the doctor is obviously a trans person who converted to a woman, but was a man. And obviously, so there's a lot of like agenda in this show with the diversity of the casting and stuff. But that didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. I thought it was going to be an SJW garbage mess. But what did bother me a little bit about it was, again, that like, shit bomb. They all just like,
You become
they seem like kids who,
a shit bomb.
I'm smart for some reason. Oh, shit. What happened there? I don't see the dono. Oh, Furry Balls plot menacingly. Thank you for the $1. What's going on? But, Umbrella Academy I like. Carlos, I like Umbrella Academy a lot. So, this is a little bit SJW, a little bit if you think the casting, but I like it. I got to tell you what, I think the acting is really good in this show. I think this show is fucking underrated. It gets like a 5 out of 10 everywhere. I was really impressed by how this show, like things that happen in Star Trek kind of happen in this show, but it's like this show is its own entity. It's not Star Trek at all. It's not trying to be that. It's trying to be like its own thing. And when things happen in the show that I'm like, oh, that they did that in Star Trek, I'm like, oh, I'm sort of curious to see it in this show. I never thought I was going to get past episode 1, 2, or especially 3. And now I'm on episode 6. And I can confidently say that I so far kind of like this show. Like 7 out of 10 for me. Kind of like it. Weird. Very strange that I like that it's, I don't know, man. I can't explain it. It's like an alien probe or ship lands on Earth, and then it's in the future, you know, and they're going up to find where the signal comes from to communicate and start first contact with them. I don't know. It starts really like it's the opposite of Star Trek, because in Star Trek, the guy who created Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, was like, right, he wanted no conflict. He wanted like no conflict with the crew. It's the future. We've evolved to this, you know, we don't have this conflict and stuff like that. This show starts with insane conflict. But the problem is Star Trek now tries to do conflict, but it doesn't work because you're like, but this is Star Trek. In Star Trek, there's not supposed to be this conflict amongst the crew. It's not supposed to happen. So Star Trek doesn't seem like Star Trek. But this show can do it because this show isn't Star Trek. These are still the imperfect humans that we've always been, but now we can travel into space a bit, and we're in the future a little bit. So these are still the humans that we've always been, so I can accept the conflict in the show. And there's no preachiness about I'm this race, you're that gender, so that's great. All these people just exist, and they either get along or don't get along, and they have to work through it, and it's not because of anybody's skin or female or male or none of that shit. It's just because there's conflict, which, okay, that's fine. I'm happy with that. So I can say that I don't believe, other than maybe someone looking at the casting and being like, oh, that's funny that they, it's a little woman heavy. You know, some of the men are more the bozos a little bit, so that is definitely there a little bit. That sort of, there's a strong one, but it's like Alien. It's like Aliens. This show is like Alien, Star Trek, and what was the movie Pandemonium? The one where they wake up on the ship and there's like fucking zombies or something. Was that Pandemonium? Or Pandellum or Pandemic or something? What the fuck was that movie? Someone in the chat will get it. It's sort of like Alien, Star Trek, and something else rolled into one. I don't know. But people ask me what I've been watching. I haven't been able to watch almost anything at all. But I have watched this. I got caught with it last night. Couldn't stop watching. I got to episode 6, and I want to watch more. I never say that. So there's something to this for me. Fucking crazy. Well, this guy hooks up with someone. She's married, has a kid, but her husband and kid are back on Earth. Her husband's a prominent like scientist guy who's studying the artifact, and she had to go to space, so she misses her daughter. This you'll find out about this girl later. This is the doctor, and I'm assuming she's converted from male to female, but everybody else is just everybody else and whatever, and everybody's got a role. I know it's just not. But again, like it's not. There's no preachiness in it. There's no bad preachiness. I can watch it because there's no preachiness. That's all I want. No preachiness. I'm happy. It's the only thing, like I said, that's a little weird is like that some of these people are super young. Like this girl right here, she's like, oh my God, like I'm the sexy one. Like I'm the sexy cutesy little one. Everybody wants to bang me. But she's like this wicked smart person, and you know everybody's smart, but they're like 20. You know, it's like I don't know. You don't usually see NASA people and smart like these people that are just crazy brilliant, who are just like also have potty mouths of 17-year-olds. That's my only complaint, is that they're like, what are you fucking wearing? I don't know. What are you fucking wearing? I'm going to go to the fucking... This is like when we were in school and you tried to look at my clit. Yeah, Billy did that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is not how... Like, this is a little too much. But it starts to tone down after the first couple episodes a little bit and get a little more serious. And I accept it. I actually accepted it. But at first I was like, all right, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch this because I don't believe this. And then I started, like, it started working, and I was like, okay, I believe it. I believe it enough. I believe it enough. I believe it enough. So, but if it was Star Trek, I wouldn't. I'd say this is not Star Trek. This is certainly not Star Trek. Because in Star Trek, people would get along more. But the relationships that are starting to form in the show, I'm starting to be like, oh, I'm pulling for all of you, which doesn't happen in New Star Trek. In New Star Trek, I kind of think, hope you die. Hope the characters die. I don't even like them, which is weird. So anyway, someone said, what have you been watching? That's my answer. Another Life. Netflix. Can't believe it. It's a Netflix show, too, so it could have been SJW, and it's not. I mean, the casting is a little bit, but it's really good acting. Seriously, I watched the last couple of days, I'm like, man, this acting is pretty good. Maybe some people don't think so. I don't know. It got bad ratings on it. It's got like a 6 and a 5, and Rotten Tomatoes shit on it. Rotten Tomatoes shit on this show. I don't know why. I think it's not bad. They're filming a second season. Shit bomb. I don't know. I think it was nice.
You become
I'd give it a 7.
a shit bomb.
Or a 6, 7.
Hey Joe, I haven't watched you in a while, but quick question, do you miss Braun Strowman in WWE or no?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. 100% no. Don't miss him. Gonna have to pass. I know it looks bad, Al. I know the show looks bad. I know that looking at it right now, it looks bad. I actually liked it, though. I'm telling you. Shocked. I don't know, man. It kind of reminded me of Alien a bit, with some other mixes together. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought the female characters are exactly what the female characters should be in fucking Star Wars and other shows. This woman is it's like, this is the one. This is the type of person we're looking for. In the shows where oh my God, like, oh man, it's just like, it's funny how this show can get some things right that would have worked in mega movies. It's not the best show, but it's a fun show to me. Like, I had to give it some credit. I thought it was going to be a piece of shit. It's kind of like The Rock, though. You know how The Rock is like a goofy action movie, or Armageddon is like a bad action movie that has all these problems? I like Armageddon. I like The Rock. They're fucking stupid, but I like them. But I can't go Fast and Furious, though. I can't watch it. I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know why. I can't do those ones. But I appreciate it if you can. Some people, everybody has those shows, though, or movies that they watch, and they're like, this is stupid, but I'm watching it anyway. I can't stop watching it. You know? Everybody's got that. So I can tell you with confidence, I think this is a strong 6 out of 10, if not 7. Shit bomb! That's me.
You become
You might not
a
like
shit
it.
bomb.
I'm at work. I figured I'd show you some love, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe
Compton. Joe Compton, a JC from another mommy. Okay, that was terrible. I'm sorry.
That was terrible. Joe Compton, how you doing, man? Thank you. What's up, man? How you doing, brother? I'll be doing some work in a little bit. In fact, I have to go do my my work in a minute. And then I'll be back tonight just in time to watch AEW and then do the review of it. Braun Strowman, please stay away. Please stay away. What up, Real YT? 1 out of 10 for me. Did you see it? Did you watch this show, Real YT? Has anybody watched this show and thought it was good or bad or whatever? I'd be curious what you guys think. I've watched a bunch of other sci-fi space movies or shows on Netflix, and I always start watching them, and then I'm like, and I turn them off. I almost turned this off. I almost turned this show off because I thought it was too sad at first. I was like, oh, this is going to be too sad. There's a kid involved. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. There's a kid. There's sad. There's mom going away. Nope, I'm not going to be able to get through this show. And then I somehow made it. And then I made it to episode 6, which is, I never usually make it past 2 or 3 episodes. And I made it to episode 6. I can't believe it. And so maybe you will too. I can't believe it. Hey, B-Lee, probably going to use some. Yeah, man. PUBG, Joe PUBG is lit. Enjoyed all 1 hour of it, but... What? I don't know what you're saying, Spanish Sloth. Exactly. I'm done with Netflix. It's full SJW woke propaganda. I mean, it is. Netflix has been awfully terrible with that stuff. They have been awfully terrible with it. And the thing about this show is that this show just continues it. I mean, as far as the casting. So if you're somebody that thinks Netflix or is like Netflix is full woke SJW bullshit, then this show is going to definitely kind of like when you look at the characters and stuff, you're going to be like, oh no. But all I can say is I've seen some other shows on Netflix and some things on Netflix that make me just go, ugh. But I don't know, man. I watched this show and I can tell you that there's some of the cast, more of the cast, if you recognize the people. That guy was in Shameless in the middle. But, yeah, I would not be able to watch it if it was preachy. If it was preachy or SJW, I could not watch it. It's not, though. Yet. I'm 6 episodes in, and I'm not being preached to. I'm into the story. And I think the actors and actresses have been really good. The acting is what's really, like, I saw the rating for the show online, and I just thought, man, I feel bad that they're not getting a better rating because I feel like the acting is really good. I feel bad. For some of there's a few of them that aren't the best, but like most of them are like really, there's some good performances. I'm like, damn, this is really good acting. Like, I don't know, man. Like even though I don't like the new Star Trek stuff, the acting and stuff has been pretty good on that show. Really good. This show though has way more like emotion acting and stuff, and it's like, I don't know, man. I just feel bad. They're fucking killing it. Like in the acting department. Maybe that's part of what carries the show more. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you'll hate it though. Maybe you'll think I'm crazy for liking this. Yeah, I'm never gonna watch Resident Evil. I will never watch Resident Evil on Netflix. I will never watch that shit. What up, Johnny Impact? All I can say is that if you have preconceived notions about SJW and those things, try to shut it down for like 3 episodes. Try to get through 3 episodes. And I think maybe there'll be something there. I would love if you guys come back to me and tell me, Joe, I watched it, you're an idiot, it sucks. Or Joe, I watched it, it's not bad. Or Joe, I watched it, I like it. If you want to watch it, and then tell me what you thought. Tell me what you think about it. That'd be pretty cool. Let me know in a DM or an email or whatever. Maybe I'll do something. I don't normally watch stuff, so I'm into reviewing it because I almost watch nothing. I even told Leah, I said, I think The Witcher's a better show. Probably The Witcher's a better show, but I like this in a weird way. So I've watched a whole bunch of other stuff that I started and turned it off. Maybe I was in the right mood. I don't know. It's a horrible name. The name of the show is terrible. It's called Another Life. It's a horrible fucking name, a generic name, like Another Life. And they do some Star Trek stuff in the show. Like, you're like, oh, I've seen this in Star Trek. But because it's being done in this world with these people, it's interesting. You're not watching the Star Trek away team encounter it. You're watching this very real, almost too real and too edgy of scientific people have to deal with problems and stuff. So, again, what a horrible name for the show. I mean, maybe not. Maybe there's a reason for the name, but Another Life because there's another life on Earth, or there's another life out there, or they have another life away from each other. There's like a triple meaning. I don't know. But Another Life is a boring name with a great lead, and I have enjoyed this show. I can't fucking believe it. I enjoy it better than the current Star Trek, no doubt. Because Star Trek is trying to be what these shows are. Star Trek keeps trying to do these type of dystopian, dark sci-fi shows. But Star Trek isn't supposed to be that, so it's awful. But these shows are pretty good sometimes because they're their own thing, and it's not Star Trek. I don't know why the people at Star Trek or CBS or wherever, Paramount, whoever owns it now, I forget, why they don't know that. Why they don't see that, I have no idea. And there's no mention of men and women. Men are bad, women are good. There's no mention of this race bad, this good. There's no mention about how I'm the doctor and I'm a trans doctor and I'm amazing and stuff. None of that. It's everybody's got some kind of scientific background and we're all here. There's no preachiness. If there was any preachiness, I would bail now on this show. It is a little female heavy, like definitely a little bit of Go Girl, but it's that believable one. I believe this because I know women who are fucking powerful and strong and smart. I know those women in real life. Scientists, doctors, whatever, politicians. I know them. They exist. I know women that are tough. They exist. This show covers that the right way. I believe it. As opposed to many other shows that are bullshit. I think they could use another guy or two, that can do things, that's a little smarter too, stronger, whatever. But hey, I don't really notice it. I don't think about these things. The only reason why I'm bringing them up is because people keep saying things about them. So I'm like, okay, let me, but there are shows I turn on and I'm like, fuck this show. Nope. Not doing this. Anyway, SummerSlam, we talked about it. We talked about Titus O'Neil getting a thing named after him. Maybe mask up at SummerSlam happening. Nevada issues mask mandate a month ago, and they've ramped it up recently. More coming. We talked about a lot of other wrestling news. Joey Jordison, rest in peace. We talked ZZ Top. Lost Dusty. He's dead today, just as we were doing the show at 72. That's crazy. I don't think Caitlyn Jenner is a strong woman. I don't think Caitlyn Jenner's a strong anything. He's a fucking coward. Like, Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God, did you see Aaron Rodgers' press conference, dude? Dude, we gotta play this. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, I did hear it, D. Welsh. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Oh my God, this is so fucking hilarious. Where is it? He just shit on Green Bay.
What was this all about for you?
Someone timestamp this, please.
Kind of a loaded question. I think.
What
was this all about for you? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. I think there was.
It's kind of a loaded question.
That transpired. This wasn't, a draft day thing. This was started with a conversation in February. Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, James, players that I felt like were core players to our foundation, our locker room, high character guys. I'm talking about Charles Woodson.
Oh, he's talking about how he was disgruntled because the Green Bay Packers released people like Randall Cobb and all these people.
Jordy Nelson, Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews.
Wait a minute. These people are all old as fuck. What is he talking about? Wait a minute. What?
The organization, maybe learn from them some of the mistakes in the past, in my opinion, about the way that some of the outgoing veterans were treated, and just the fact that we didn't retain a number of players that I felt like were core players to our foundation, our locker room, high character guys. I'm talking about Charles Woodson, Jordy Nelson, Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, James Jones, John Kuhn, Brett Good, T.J. Lang, Brian Balaga, Casey Hayward, Micah Hyde, guys who were, exceptional players for us, but great locker room guys, high character guys. Many of them who weren't offered a contract at all, or were extremely lowballed, or were, maybe in my opinion, not given the respect on the way out that guys.
That's interesting.
Off seasons.
Most of those guys were like retiring.
A huge vacation destination. People are coming here to play.
As
a recruiter, and I think we can all understand, hasn't really been used, shall we say?
What's he talking about here?
In my career, I've trained with a number of NFL guys most of my career in the off seasons. My agency, Athletes First, has had a number of high draft picks over the years. I've tried to pass along information. Hasn't really been used, shall we say?
Oh, I see. So he's given his draft picks and draft ideas, and they didn't use a lot of them. Yeah, it's like they didn't do that with Brady a lot. Brady would suggest things, and Bill and they did that in New England, to Brady. Brady, they'd tell him about some things, but sometimes, Brady'd be like, I want this, that, and sometimes they'd listen, sometimes they didn't. I get that.
Okay. So I wanted to offer my services as a recruiter.
Yeah.
And I think we can all understand, Green Bay isn't, a huge vacation destination. People are coming here to play with me, to play with our team, and knowing that they can.
Oh my God. It's not a huge destination. People are coming to play with me. Oh my God.
Hasn't really been.
Fuck you, Green Bay.
Used, shall we say? So I wanted to offer my services as a recruiter, and I think we can all understand, Green Bay isn't, a huge vacation destination. People are coming here to play with me, to play with our team, and knowing that they can win a championship here. And the fact that I haven't been used in those discussions was what I wanted to change moving forward.
What a fucking dickhead. He's right, though. They're coming to play here with me. What's the pipe bomb? Oh, my God. What's the pipe bomb, though? Oh, my God. I think, people obviously aren't coming to Green Bay for Green Bay. Obviously, they're going to come here to play with me. That's why they're coming here. He's right. He is kind of right, though. That's fucking hilarious. That's right. I mean, it's the same thing with the Celtics, right? A lot of people, nobody wants to come to Boston. There's like a stigma that Boston's racist or something, and like, oh, it's cold and wintry. Like the Celtics have this problem all the time. We have to be like, please come here. Please. The NBA players are like, nah, I want to go to Miami or fucking California or somewhere. And then like the stigma with Boston, which is not really true anymore. And again, Boston was one of the first black players in every sport. It's just crazy. We're the people that had the diversity first, like before anybody. We just talked the most shit, and it was rough in the 90s and before the 90s. The 90s and before it was bad. Like there was a problem. But yeah, it's not, I don't know, you got a bunch of people cheering for you. But yeah, people just don't want to come to the cold. Mostly it's the cold, it's the winter out here, and it's, they'd rather be, if you're going to be in winter, you'd rather be in New York or, somewhere like, probably like New York, pretty much. That's about it. New York, maybe Chicago. Certainly south, anywhere down south or west coast. So yeah, getting people to play in Boston is hard. So I can see with, the Green Bay Packers in the cheese state, it's hard to get people out there. But that's about all the time I have. I did want to cover some other wrestling news, but this is just all the time I have. I want to thank everybody who dropped a dono. I will see you tonight for the AEW live review after AEW Dynamite tonight, or tonight's Fight Fest or something, right? It was Fighter Fest, and now tonight's Fight something, Fight for the Fallen. Yeah, tonight's Fight for the Fallen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good day. I'll be streaming at some point some more Diablo, hopefully on Twitch. So look for that. And I hope you keep it all wet in the chat and you hit that like button. Glad to see Cobb back in green and gold. Oh, Randall Cobb? Yeah, dude, Randall Cobb was fire. I love Randall Cobb as a player. Everybody say a prayer for Jericho tonight as he goes into the death match. That's going to be fun.
How much further do you want me to dox you?
See you guys later. Thanks for being here. And shout out to the patrons, man. The $25 producer patrons. Brian Owens, Crunch Time Sports, Cody Mastro, Skittles, Alan Stober, Shell, Luis Antonio Alejandro, J-Man from KC, Colonel Stutters, Kevin Murphy, Jake Leonard, Cold Brew Crew, Stevio, Dwayne Crenshaw, Joseph Lightsey, Sith Negan, Nikki J. the Weed God, Garguts Entertainment, Daniel Cater, Chad LaFave, ADTR 210, Gordon Bombay, Drew Bar 100, CJ Rella, Justin McNeil, Matt Rossmeyer, Alex O'Donnell, Jason Tarr is back, and Jeremy Brooks. And Jake DeMarco, his podcast is up right now on Patreon. If you guys haven't heard it, it's up now on Patreon. Go download it, go listen to it, whatever. It's a nice little 1-hour show with Jake DeMarco. It's available right now on Patreon. Go check it out. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Thanks to Bill McNally, just became a $5 patron on Patreon. Thanks to Bill. We're at 327 patrons. And of course, tomorrow, Out of Nowhere podcast live on Patreon exclusively. Janelle Banks is back. Thanks to Janelle. Esteva Rain is back. Sean Martin, Mr. Aaron Embry, and Relic is back as well on Patreon. We'll see you guys tonight.